Good evening, Speed Gaming 4. I'm Eleanor Lamb. I'm here with Chad Rowan, and you've tuned in for another exciting race in the Super Metroid Link to the Past Combo Randomizer Tournament. This is a Group C match. This is winner go home. The winner will advance to the playoffs. The loser is done. How are you doing tonight, Chad?
I'm doing well. This should be an exciting match. Both these runners coming in 1-1, so they've both proven that they belong in this tournament. We should see a good race.
Indeed, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of gambles, if any, the players make to try to get. I don't know if I said this, but we've got Gozengatta versus SuperNinTaylor. I feel like I said it was a Group C match and forgot to say who was actually matching. We should be getting off shortly.
Yep, and likely we'll see the normal start. Both runners will likely go to Link to the Past as soon as possible, though it is possible that one of the runners might decide to go and check the Morph pedestal just for that, knowing that their opponent will not.
Indeed.
And we are getting underway, it looks like.
I must be a second behind. Refresh my screen. Yep, there we go.
And indeed, both runners did go into Link to the Past.
It's not a huge surprise. We'll see what's on the pilot. Is there some missiles?
And both saving and quitting immediately. Let's see where they go. Okay, looks like Gozengatta's starting at Link's house, and SuperNinTaylor starting at Sanctuary.
I question if you're going to start in Link's house, do you save time by saving and quitting? I suppose you save a few seconds.
I think you save a little, and you certainly help preserve your chance of keeping the tier 3 bomb pull. Plus chance of running into an enemy on the way.
Just 10 arrows from the tree pole on Gozengatta's side. SuperNinTaylor finds his tree pole is single rupees. That's as close to worthless as you can get.
But
the uncle's got blue.
The 4 bomb drop off the enemy, and then finding the bombs on the bush crabs. So bombs are not going to really be an issue for the runners this seed. When there's a cape.
So we won't know that Aga is dead entirely until we see what's on bumper.
Yes, and if Aga is required, we know that it will be with Master Sword. What a morph ball in Lost Woods. That is a nice item to find early.
Definitely a nice item. Without bombs, doesn't open up a whole lot, but we should. We actually already found power bombs. I feel. It's where I saw somebody get power bombs.
But most importantly, that is not an item you want to have to hunt for. Last tree pull is bombs. So we'll see what's in Kakariko today.
I'm having a little bit of lag with the commentary stream, so I was sorry that I'm not saying.
Okay, 20 rupees, bomb upgrade, super missiles, more regular missiles. And an E-tank. Lion's Hut not being terribly useful, though it's always nice to have all the ammo. And SuperNinTaylor's gonna head to the well. Gozengatta finally makes his way into Kakariko.
And there's some power bombs in the well, so very useful.
And another bomb upgrade.
A stick upgrade and then some sticks.
So not only will bombs be very easy to find in the seed, but they'll be able to carry quite a lot of them. SuperNinTaylor does not have enough rupees yet to purchase whatever the bottle vendor is selling today.
Which can be tricky because that's an easy one to forget. So used to having that money that you might forget that you haven't paid.
Oh, and morph ball bombs to go with that morph ball. Which means that if the runners do decide to check Bomb Terizo's item, they will have to fight Bomb Terizo.
Yep, seems very likely that we will get to see 2 bomb Terizos today, which is 2 more than you normally see.
Alright, let's see what's at the library. Just 20 rupees. And looks like SuperNinTaylor is just going to do the race game blind. And Gozengatta tries for the chicken throw, but does not quite get it. Oh, and that was a good blind race game, because that is a sword. Meanwhile, Gozengatta continues to follow along in SuperNinTaylor's footsteps. And let's see what is at the dam today. And looks like someone dropped their supers in the dam. SuperNinTaylor heading over now to Mini Moldurm Cave, getting a nice bomb refill on his way. Meanwhile, it looks like Gozengatta is going to be doing the hula hand trick. Going to the hula hand room to collect the 225 rupees that you can get there. SuperNinTaylor heading up to Ice Rod Cave. And just finds a pack of power bombs.
Did they find anything in the mini motorhome cave, or was it pretty empty?
I didn't see anything that was particularly important.
Looks like Gozengatta should give us a another look.
Yeah, but I think it's just the you know, usual garbage.
This seed is really big on the arrow and bomb capacity upgrade.
Yeah, we'll be well stocked on those. Yeah, it was yet another bomb capacity upgrade that we did not need.
Well, if you like to see large numbers in the top portion of your Zelda screen, you turned into the right stream today. Let me tell
Yeah, that is certainly true.
pretty sure they can carry more arrows than I can count now. So we've got SuperNinTaylor doing the castle dungeon.
And should these runners end up needing to do bosses using only bombs, they can probably do it.
Of course, both runners do have that fighter sword, so they shouldn't have to use bombs, but I guess they can go for a challenge.
Yeah, I think it is likely that the runners are just trying to get through all of their early progression checks first. And finding gravity suit. Well, that's the kind of item that you like to find before you go into Super Metroid.
Indeed, it makes you wonder what Zelda was doing with the gravity. Unfortunately, she's not here in this version, so we can't ask her. We do a SuperNinTaylor heading for the Dark Cross.
And meanwhile, Gozengatta fake flippered to the hobo and got the ice beam.
Ice Beam opens up a few locations in Super Metroid.
So I guess the hobo was busy making some slushies under the bridge for himself.
Either that, or maybe he was just a heart piece in Dark Cross. Maybe he was like the previous bounty hunter before Samus, and he was like washed up.
I often wondered, who is he supposed to be? I guess, what is his backstory anyway?
SuperNinTaylor heading for the back, looking for the T-Rex.
And manages to find it. That blue male certainly helping out with avoiding taking too much damage.
Picks up those 2 hearts just to be safe.
All right, looks like SuperNinTaylor is now going to go in the Super Metroid.
He's got a lot open to him with Gravity Suit, Morph Ball bombs, Power Bombs. A lot of choices in where. Unfortunately for these runners, having Morph Ball bombs does open up IBJ.
Yeah, and that is a pain. It's certainly the slowest can fly that's available to them.
I just completely lack the IBJ, so I'm always.
Yeah, it is very slow.
I've never been good at rhythm games. I've never been good at, like, couldn't even do Rock Band. Let's see what's up here in the Criteria Power Bomb. Oh, there's seahorses.
Just a heart piece, it looks like.
That does not feel good to do an IBJ for a heart piece.
No.
And we'll see where SuperNinTaylor heads next. So he's gonna go for the gauntlet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That said, gauntlet with 129 energy. I mean, you do have the gravity suit, but this is still pretty dicey.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense for the runners to do it, just to get it off the list and not have to worry about coming back here. But they do have to be a little more careful.
We've got Gozengatta's following in SuperNinTaylor's footsteps and doing the dark. He finds the key rat easily. Nothing in the middle of gauntlet.
Oh, just 10 arrows. As you said, that low health can easily go down inside Gauntlet. Alright, and he manages to get the right setup to be able to check both items. Fortunately,
bombs.
Just bombs.
For both games. Yay. And Gozengatta is actually doing something different. He is checking out the back of Sashral's closet. We'll see if he heads into East.
And just a heart piece at Terminator. Yeah, only thing good in that gauntlet was the power bombs, which they didn't really need, but this early, it's nice to get them just so you don't have to worry about getting refills and farming them up.
And while SuperNinTaylor's heading down to Green Brinstar, did he check Terminator?
Yeah, it was just a heart piece. And SuperNinTaylor doing the Lockball into the Brinstar Reserve area. Oh, and finding the hammer.
That is a huge out of logic find. That, of course, not until you get the speed booster. The game does not expect you to mock.
Yeah, so we know that the speed booster is going to be logically required for this seed, because hammer is always required in SMZ3.
And Gozengatta has gone ahead and gone into Eastern. Of course, without the bow, not complete.
Yeah, without the bow, it cannot be completed, and logically, you cannot get to the vanilla big key chest without the lamp.
I would expect, of course, these runners to both be capable of doing the dark room without the lamp, but that's always important to keep in track of what's in logic and what.
Yeah, if they can do Dark Cross without the lamp, they can certainly do the first dark room in Eastern.
That's true. Dark Cross is much harder than Eastern. Eastern I can do. Dark Cross I would never get out there. I would just wander around forever in the. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Carito, who's our behind the scenes volunteer, who has got the thing on Gozengatta's screen. So huge thanks to you, Carito.
Alright, now we're SuperNinTaylor's in big pink, so we can see if there's anything there.
He's thinking real hard about what he wants to do, which this next room with 51 health is pretty scary. These side hoppers do a lot of damage even when you have all this.
Yeah, and if you mess up and hit one of those spikes, that's a lot of damage to take as well, without Varia suit.
The game trolls him by giving him a heart piece, or a heart container.
Oh, and Gozengatta finds a bottle. And is now going to head into Super Metroid themselves. SuperNinTaylor gets the super missile to open up Bow Supers from the back.
Of course, the game expects you to kill Spo to get that 20 rupees. Nobody's gonna kill Spore Spawn for 20. That would be the only thing worse than killing Spore Spawn and getting 20 rupees would be like getting 5 rupees.
Or getting arrows.
I'd even rather have the single arrow of destiny over 20 rupees.
How about the single rupee?
The single rupee of destiny with which you could buy everything. SuperNinTaylor going for the Wavegate glitch here. This is a lot harder to do without high jumps, but it is still completely possible to do.
And Gozengatta is giving up on trying to do the wall jumps up to Gauntlet, as we know that there was really nothing there, so it's not really missing much.
And if you'll fix your eyes on the left screen, you will soon see the almost never seen Bomb Chorizo, and you'll also see how Bomb Chorizo reacts to having super missiles. Oh, never mind.
Gozengatta decided that single rupee was not worth fighting Bomb Chorizo for. Bomb Chorizo is welcome to keep that single rupee.
I'm sorry, I'll take my hype and put it back in my pot. Just was not expecting that. Oh, he had the wall jump. Yeah, that second wall jump is very tricky to get.
And
I get
SuperNinTaylor decides they don't need the arrow upgrade in the green pipe. They've already had enough arrow upgrades.
that seems completely fair. Ooh boy, SuperNinTaylor. Oh boy.
Ooh, boy, 12 health. And I think SuperNinTaylor may have forgotten that they have bombs.
That's actually would not surprise me in the slightest. You're so used to just not having morph ball bombs in SMZ3 that when you do have them, you often.
We saw him use them to get up to criteria power bombs, but then since then he's just been throwing power bombs at every problem.
Thought real hard about whether he wanted those missiles or not.
Yeah, only thing good so far they found is the hammer, but that hammer is not actually in logic yet. So far they found nothing in logic.
Which really, this has been a pretty dry seed for almost half an hour in. We haven't really found a whole.
Yeah, there really hasn't been anything that makes you go, oh man, the runners will be glad that they routed it this way rather than that way, because there really hasn't been anything.
And it looks like there continues to be nothing in Billy Mays. So Blue Barin, completely skippable.
Yeah, we will have to see if there's anything at the old Mother Brain location. Or at 230 missiles.
Hopefully there's not leftover brains.
Because if there isn't, then the Brinstar loot may have just been completely dry.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that you could totally skip Brinstar, but then I remembered that hammer. And I mean, I guess you feel like you probably still got your money's worth doing all this because you got the hammer, but you really hope to find.
It looks like SuperNinTaylor is choosing not to scout the supers in the shaft there, just to can't get them yet, but you can scout them out and see whether or not you actually want them later.
The wall jumps to scout that are pretty terrible, so that doesn't surprise me that you might opt to just move on. You know you're gonna find the speed booster at some point.
Yeah, I sometimes like to check them if I have the ability to, just because then I know whether I need to come back.
And there's the ice rod at 230 missiles.
Okay, so that's the second item of possible value that we have found. We still need to find. We will have to see whether Turtle Rock is a crystal or pendant to know whether we actually care about that. But I think now you can get your hype up, because I seriously doubt that SuperNinTaylor will be resetting out of this fight, since they will lose everything else that they found. And there goes the bomb Chorizo fight.
Figures my pizza arrives just in time for you to miss the fight.
As soon as it started, it was over.
Yeah, bomb Chorizo doesn't stand much of a chance, unfortunately, when you've got super miss.
Alright, we'll see which way SuperNinTaylor heads next. There's a good chance that he will be headed to Wreck Ship.
Yeah, we'll see if he makes the decision to go down to Wreck Ship or
Finds a quick medallion at the
ship.
moment.
Looks like he go Red Ship to Wreck Ship.
Yeah, Wreck Ship is in logic with that gravity suit and bombs.
An alternative method of getting up here, for folks who don't know, is a gravity jump. Actually, this gravity jump, yeah, from right where he's standing. You don't have to do anything tricky.
Yeah, I think he's getting the input, the jump in a little too early, needs to wait just a bit longer.
So what a gravity jump is, real quick, just in case anybody doesn't know, is if you hit pause, and then right before the screen fades black, hit the jump button, and turn gravity suit off. Your physics.
And gets it. Meanwhile, Gozengatta continues to follow behind a lot of what SuperNinTaylor had already checked.
So it is important. I was just about to ask why it seems it Gozengatta did do Eastern, so that accounts for most of the time difference. So there's not really an advantage one player or the other.
And Gozengatta decides that they do want their bugnet.
I would really not be looking forward to one energy tank Phantom. This is could be rough for SuperNinTaylor.
Yeah, the gravity suit will help some, just because it'll take a lot less damage, but it's still not going to be the easiest fight.
Phantom not being nice. Gozengatta is clearing out his blue burn star checks, which we know isn't going to get him anything of that. I don't want to jinx it, but so far I gotta say, excellent fight on SuperNinTaylor's side.
Yeah, he has more health now than he started the fight with.
And Argus is almost dead. Should be one more super. And that is a dead fan too.
Yep. And that means that the wreck ship will now come back to life. Which means all the spikes will actually be working. Because for some reason, in the Super Metroid universe, spikes have to be powered to do damage.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works in our world too. Just kidding, please don't go jump on spikes. Although spikes seem to be a pretty common occurrence in the Super Metroid world. Ooh, a Master Sword. I can't think of the last time I just saw spikes in the real.
Well, good to get that sword. That way, if we do for some reason end up needing that cape on the Lumberjack Ledge, we do have half of our access to Aga. Well, 2/3 of it. And looks like Gozengatta is going to check what is at the Climb Super location.
Of course, the other item we need for Aga access is Have Not Seen.
And it's just a heart piece. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor is going through the spiky room of death to check out what is at the wreck ship E-Tank location.
Yikes.
Be careful. Oh, just a heart piece. Well, thankfully, SuperNinTaylor saved and we can just reset back out.
Gozengatta gets his ice rod.
SuperNinTaylor trying to do the clip, but probably wasting more time trying to attempt it than he would have saved by getting it.
It does feel good to find the ice rod early because that is one of those items that can just be any.
Yeah, it only locks one check, potentially, but can be required to complete a seed.
SuperNinTaylor pushing these little guys around for the red boomerang. Looks like he's going.
Well, I don't think the runners otherwise... No, they had the ice rod, so they did have a stun weapon, but red boomerang is nice to have if you want a stun weapon that doesn't require magic, or just want something for hitting switches at range.
SuperNinTaylor checking wreck ship reserve. Sees X-ray.
Finds the thing that would have allowed him to easily check that item.
Yep, an X-ray's nice to have, but I don't think anybody's gonna come back to a wreck ship. So that's probably not gonna get collected.
No, if they find Speed Booster before they leave wreck ship, they might get it, but otherwise there's really no point. Yeah, microwave is useful, but I'm not sure that the time you save doing the microwave would be overcome by the time you would waste going all the way back through bowling.
SuperNinTaylor trying to bomb jump up to missiles in the sky was off a little bit.
It looks like Gozengatta is not going to wreck ship, but is instead going to go down Red Tower first.
And now SuperNinTaylor is too far over. Does at least see the item though, 10. That was really smart. That was some heads up play. To quote the Final Fantasy Randomizer, that was a veteran move.
Is able to get an E-tank in the maze.
But yeah, with only one E-tank, I think just about every runner under the sun is going to pick that E-tank.
Yeah, that this early on, that's a nice find.
Plus, you're going to take a boatload of damage here on these spikes, so you got to have a lot of health, and probably wouldn't have had the health to survive this without that E-tank, because you can see it's, I think, 60 energy a spike.
And Gozengatta finds their own E-tank as well as the Moon Pearl at Alpha Power Bombs.
Alright, so we are looking for a Power Glove to give us Dark World access and skip having to kill Aga for that.
Yeah. Either that or we would need the Speed Booster and Flippers. And SuperNinTaylor's making their way out of wreck ship while Gozengatta is checking out what is at Spazer.
Some runners will tell you that rupee is more valuable than space.
Alright, I suspect we'll see Gozengatta go to Kraid.
Yeah, we're running out of Super Metroid checks really quick. We've checked about half of Super Metroid, and until we find that Varia suit, all of Norfair and Lower Norfair is out of line.
Yeah, and I'm sure the runners would love to get some better movement items. While the morph bombs do put quite a lot of checks in logic, it is a very slow method of getting around. Gozengatta finds the third sword in our seed. I imagine that SuperNinTaylor will also get that and be at Temperance.
Meanwhile, Gozengatta's about to take on everyone's favorite big green guy, Kraid. We'll see if he stands up. And we seem to have purchased the Kraid DLC.
Yep. And Kraid is down.
SuperNinTaylor really wanted that power bomb, but he didn't get it.
His powerbomb count is getting a bit lower. I can see
I'm
why.
curious if he's just gonna farm power bombs here, or if he's gonna go and attempt to check the item.
Well, with the morph bombs, he does have the ability to get there. And probably has the health to tank the damage on from the spikes on the way.
Yeah, some runners, if you can take damage from the enemies, and you take a lot less. So we'll see if he tries that. This, of course, is not in logic.
No, the logic expects you to have either space jump or grapple to get through this room.
And SuperNinTaylor says better things to do.
It makes sense. It's not in logic anyway. If he was getting it quickly, sure, why not? It's a check he can get out of the way, but Gozengatta gonna check what's that? The Croc escape, and it's just an E-tank. And now it's going to check. Oh, and finds the glove finally. Okay, we do have Dark World access.
So that's a lot of Link to the Past opened up.
Yep.
Ooh, and flippers.
And the flippers, wow. So all the progression was down here at Business Center.
Of course, it is worth pointing out that the hammer we have is out of logic. It's locked behind Speed Booster, which we still haven't found. So I'm trying to think, where does the seed want you to go?
Well, it may be behind the flippers. There also are locations in Meridia that we could still check.
Super gets his red sword. Bacon! Gravity suit is in logic. It was in Zelda's cell. And we've been racing for about 45, well, we haven't been racing, but we've been watching the race for about 45 minutes. This is a great time to remind everyone to give our two runners a follow. They're putting on a pretty exciting show for us so far. Also, give a big shout out to our sponsor of the tournament, Rank Global. Rank1.global is a place to collect all of your gamer profiles. You can do things like post clips and what games you're playing right now. It's a pretty cool site, and they were awesome enough to do a cash sponsorship for this tournament. So please check them out. The top 4 runners will get dollars, which it's pretty cool that you can get dollars for playing this strange game. And I'd like to give another shout out to J3W, our tracker, who's been doing an excellent job tonight. Tracking this is an absolute nightmare, and he's been on the ball. So big shout outs and give him a follow. And also a shout out to my co-commentator Chad Rawl. It's been fun the last 2 times. It's fun so far.
Yeah, and now we will have to see what's going on. And if you missed it, the old man just gave a 5 rupee tip, being a real cheapskate. And let's see. Gozengatta is going to the witch's hut. Looks like he's going to fill up the potion bottle he has.
Of course, any bottle you find in version 11 is going to be empty. So it's smart thinking that since he's going past her anyways and he's got tons of money, you should definitely fill that bottle up.
Yeah, decided that he is going to follow the logic, which would be the flipper's checks. He already got the ice beam off the hobo, so now he's going to do the rest of the flipper's checks. And another bottle and a piece of heart inside the waterfall fairy's cave.
I'm a little disappointed he didn't throw that bottle in to fill it up.
Well, may have decided that he didn't really want a green potion, particularly with the number of rubies they already have.
And we saw the Zora ledge was just super missiles, and Zora himself is the heart container. So that means that all that you get from flippers right now is the ice beam.
Alright, so with that, we know that the ice beam is now in logic. Where do you think that the progression is wanting them to go? Dark World, I suppose. No, because Dark World's not in logic, so Meridia would have to be the play.
Yeah, I think that it's got to be something in Meridia. That said, I don't expect either of these runners to particularly care about the logic break they've made, but it is always worth keeping in. Props on Gozengatta for remembering that he did not check the bottle merchant, and then also that he has a bottle to check Sick Kid.
Yeah, I was wondering when the runners would get around to doing Bottle Vendor. And it looks like SuperNinTaylor is going to head into the Dark World through the portal below Lane's house.
Speed itself may not be in Meridia. It's got to be something that leads to speed, though. So, you know, it could be the second glove, for example, and then speed in Dark World would be totally possible.
Yeah.
And Taylor's doing the hype cave check. What's your prediction, real quick?
Well, it's a little late now, but I'm still guessing it's going to be low. I with that half magic, I would probably give it a 3.
We've got a map check. We've got pendants in Thieves. Thieves Town. Crystal somewhere. That's really helpful, I know. And yeah, I don't know. I'd give that hype cave maybe like a 3.
Yeah, I definitely, I would, the half magic makes it a 3 for me.
There we go. So we can confirm that the red pendant, or red crystal rather, was Turtle Rock, and the green pendant was the...
Yeah, and Mire and Swamp being the other pendants.
So that means we know one of the 5-6 crystals is going to be here in the light world. We've got Gozengatta checking out Skull Woods, and SuperNinTaylor checking out the Dig game. How many digs will it take? Answer, a lot.
Yeah, and we get the Cane of Burna for all of that digging.
I feel like that's worth it. I like, especially with half magic, the Cane of Burn is a lot more useful.
And Gozengatta finds
Oh
that there
no!
is powder.
Oh no!
Well,
So we know
we
that magic powder is locked by the magic cape, which is at the lumberjack ledge. So, do we need to kill Aga? Question mark, question mark.
Well, I'm sure the runners would be very much hoping that they find the mushroom and the cane in short order so that they don't have to ask that question anymore.
That's really kind of the worst thing to find up there is, and I don't know. You know, at least if you find something that you, as Superman gets his ice beam, at least if you find an item you need, you know, you can make that decision. But now you're still stuck with, do I need to do Aga? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I hope they're probably hoping that they find the mushroom and cane so they can do fake powder and not have to worry about it. But
Fake powder is, of course, a great glitch where if you use all your magic, use Mire and then use the mushroom, the game for some reason thinks you've magic powdered.
But yeah, that, as Fuzzy Games pointed out, if we somehow had the Cane of Samaria on the bat, then we would indeed have to go through that whole fetch quest chain.
Well, I will say I think this opens up a really interesting play for our runners. If somebody takes that gamble that that magic powder is something super useful like the bow, you know, it could be huge if they just bite the bullet and make that Aga play. I mean, Aga is, you know, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on execution. So it's not that much time.
No, though it does make the light world a little more annoying to go through with the added guards.
But you get the added bonus of the extra portal at the castle gate, which can be useful.
Yep, though a little less so in this particular seat, since with one of the 5-6 crystals being Turtle Rock, and that usually being one of the dungeons that is a little more difficult, has a lot more requirements in order to open it up. It often ends up being one of the last crystal dungeons you have access to.
Gozengatta is doing the back of Thieves Town, which, being the green pendant, I think I can get behind. It's a gamble.
See, doing that, particularly when you don't have a lot of progression in Link to the Past currently available in terms of completable dungeons.
Yeah, let's take a quick run through. We can't finish Eastern. We can't even get into Desert. We can't get into
Hera. Yeah, can't get into Desert, can't get into Hera. Can't finish Pod. Can't get into Swamp. Can't finish Skull Woods. Can't get into Ice. Can't get into Mire, and can't get into Turtle Rock.
So far, Thieves Town has been a bust. We, of course, do have the key, but we also have the hammer, so if there is an item in the big chest, it's no big deal.
Alright. And power bombs at the Maiden's chest.
Looks like there is an item in the big chest, or at least the possibility of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still one item left here in Thieves Town. And it's just 20 rupees. Okay, so Thieves Town was a bust. But
So,
we do have the green pennant still to turn in.
do you know much about either of these runners, Chad Round? We haven't really talked about them much. SuperNinTaylor is definitely, I think, a pretty well-known runner of at least A Link to the Past.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know either runner very well. I've watched Gozengatta do SMZ3 multis before, but
Yeah, kind of my knee-jerk reaction would be, I would think, oh boy, Gozengatta. Use your blue potion.
ooh, and Gozengatta takes a death to blind.
Which I think that if you made the commitment to clear thieves, sticking with it's the smart play. Like, you've already gambled that the green pendant's got something. You gotta see that gamble.
Yeah, I mean, you've put in the time already.
Anyway, I was gonna say that SuperNinTaylor, I think my knee jerk would be have an advantage. I think.
We'll see what SuperNinTaylor does, whether he also decides to clear Thieves Town while he's here.
Check it out, the bombable hut first. Just some missiles. Gozengatta cutting it close, but gets blind down again.
Yeah, that was very close, down to just half a heart.
Gozengatta is shaving years off my life that I don't have.
Alright, in terms of Dark World checks, have we seen Stumpy, or is that the last check that we have at the moment?
We have not seen Stumpy, I'm pretty sure. No, wait, we had to have, because SuperNinTaylor did the South Dark World, so he had to have done Stumpy. You wouldn't do Hype Cave and Dig Game and skip Stumpy.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was the case, but I was not sure.
So as our runners retrace their steps real quick, you're just taking a quick look at Group C. So Gozengatta played Pizza 34 and lost in their first match. SuperNinTaylor defeated Oopla and then lost to Pizza 34. I assume Pizza 34 might be a name of somebody else on Challenge that I was not familiar with.
Yeah. Well, Pizza is a fairly I would say is fairly well known for doing the SMZ3. He was the #1 seed in the group.
So that's kind of how these runners got. They are. And here's Gozengatta's going to be checking the Stumpy just to see what he had, and it was just a heartbeat. It is interesting to me that, excuse me, both these runners decided to do Thieves Town completely.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting. Just like I think it's very interesting that both runners decided that they did not want to continue Meridia, even though it was logically what the seed was looking for them to do.
Especially it is the item in Meridia is speed, which would open up all of Meridia.
Yeah, and so far, for having decided to come to the Dark World following that out of logic hammer, has not really turned up anything yet.
I think if you looked at the statistics of does the green pendant have anything on it, I would assume in the combo randomizer the odds of the green pendant being something are very low, just because there's so many quote unquote worthless items random into the pool. So this seems like a super interesting choice to me that both runners are going to go for the green pendant.
Yeah, and it may have just been a choice of, I want to be able to full clear something, and this is the only thing I can full clear right now in Link to the Past.
Gozengatta deciding to pick up the super missiles. Can't blame him. No charge beams. Supers are great. We'll see how SuperNinTaylor does against Blind.
Yeah, since blind is just based on the number of hits, the difference in swords is not going to make any difference in how the blind fight goes. And SuperNinTaylor does take down blind. And gets their own green pendant. All right, let's see. Gozengatta is checking catfish and finds the boots. Well, that's a nice find. All right, so that is the first bit of what is real progression to be found here. And it only opens up a couple checks. It makes the game much faster, and I'm sure the runners will both appreciate finding that. And it looks like SuperNinTaylor is headed in to the Skull Woods.
So that boots pickup is a really nice pickup for Gozengatta. That's a location that's going to be a little bit orphaned.
Yeah, it's a bit of out of the way, particularly when you've already done the Zora check and don't have the Mire to sort of lure you to do that all at the same time.
Which, speaking of not having the Mire, it feels bad to be in this area and not be able to turn in that green pendant. That green pendant would be burning a hole in my pocket. Oh no!
Oh, gets hit and has to pay Kiki again. It's always very frustrating. A lot of, tend to route that pod maze the same way, and just because the enemies decide to do something differently this time, you end up getting hit.
Yep, and Kiki's a real scam artist.
All right, 10 arrows in the middle.
Gozengatta found the big key on the left side, which I believe means we are bow locked in pod. He does have that blue potion, so he can get around that bow.
Yeah, and I imagine we will see that him do the potion glitch here to manipulate the mimics into going off screen, and therefore the game considering them to be dead. At least long enough to open that door.
I mean, I've seen this trick executed probably 100 times, and I, have heard the explanations, and I still. Oh shit. It's a link to the past for you. Looks like SuperNinTaylor's gonna be heading over and getting his booth. Just some missiles in that chest of pot.
Yep, and find our first small key. And having found two non-small key items, we know that the last two chests in the front will have to be small keys.
Could skip this chest here if he was keeping up on the key logic of pod. That said, key logic and pod is very confusing to me. So I would check it just to be safe, because you'd really hate to be like miscounting and leaving.
Yep, but that chest there has to be a small key.
He'll likely be heading to the back, checking out the dark maze and the dark. And SuperNinTaylor opting to save and quit at the pyramid's an interesting choice.
And Gozengatta throwing a bomb to open up the hole in the wall there, and finds the fourth sword.
Which I thought he already had tempered.
No, he has not done wreck ship, so he has not gotten the sword there.
Oh, okay. I did not see what was at the desert ledge, but we have SuperNinTaylor making the Agina. The check nobody ever wants to make. Just missiles. Feels bad.
And Gozengatta finds the last small key in pod.
Gozengatta's got to be careful. He's only got 2 hearts to get through the dark maze, and it's really easy to take a lot of damage.
Yeah. These enemies are constantly spitting out fire and walking around and
Getting a spike cave check on SuperNinTaylor's side is, of course, in logic with half magic and the cave cane of burnup. For 20 measly bucks. And whatever was in that chest, we can't see, so it could have been a Super Metroid item, it could have been a Link to the Past item.
yeah, and he quickly checked his menu to see if he could figure out what it was, but
Yeah, I don't see anything.
unfortunately we don't have the sound, so we don't know if it was just a heart piece or rupees or something.
I think all of those would have shown up in a dark room. I forget exactly. It's I want to say it's sprites that have a color in it, like yellow, don't show up in dark rooms.
Well, because the pod big key was in the first chest, everything else in pod was out of logic. Only the first chest was actually in logic.
Looks like SuperNinTaylor is gonna backdoor Meridia.
Well, that actually makes some sense. That is certainly, well, it's not an in-logic way to get there. Since it is where we know the progression has to be at this point.
Meanwhile, Gozengatta is going in the front door at the exact same time. Gozengatta having trouble getting Samus doing the spin jump. Sometimes she just refuses to, and that looks like Bombos, I believe?
I didn't quite catch it. Yeah, it is one of the medallions.
Either way, he'll pick it up in a second. He's not gonna skip that.
No. If it is Bombos, that not only could potentially open up either Turtle Rock or Mire, or potentially, because we do not have the Ice Rod yet, could open up Ice Palace once we get the mitts.
SuperNinTaylor having some trouble in whatever that room is called. Yep, it was Bombo. So smartly remembers there's an energy refill over here, and saves also.
Yeah, and that makes sense to grab a save real quick before heading into this fight. Because without charge, without speed booster, without grapple beam. Oh,
there's the Titan's mitts.
Okay, so that was the play. They needed to come in here. Well, no, because they wouldn't have access to here yet. So
there
still needs to be some progression in the front.
Yeah, it's either got to be in here or the watering hole for that little.
Or the sand pits.
Sand pits. Oh yes. Oh gosh, I hate sand pits. Anyone who's heard me has heard me complain about this quicksand mechanic in this game. I hate the quicksand mechanic.
Yeah, the sand pits are truly awful.
So here's Gozengatta's going to show off a gravity jump.
But it's not on the right starting hill.
gets up the first hill. Now he just needs to get up the second as SuperNinTaylor's pumping Dragon full of missiles. Gozengatta heading up to the watering hole. And I do not know what that missile location there is called, but it's a blue boomerang.
I
Just some power bombs from Dragon. Yeah, for the question chat, mitts were precious. Gozengatta getting a friendly helping hand from that.
All right, and nothing here, so we will have to. Looks like it's going to be at the sand pits then. I think the worst thing that they could find would be the lamp.
Would lamp put anything in logic?
It would put Aga in logic.
Oh, good point. Just some bombs behind. Which, of course, we will likely not see Botswoon on SuperNinTaylor's side. Probably not on Gozengatta's side either, but you'd.
I imagine we'll see Gozengatta do the snail clip here. And finds the silver arrows.
That's a nice find.
Yeah, that is a very useful find.
Would be a little more useful with a bow.
It looks like SuperNinTaylor is going to head towards the front of Meridia.
Interesting decision to not even check the sand pits.
Yeah, well, they may be planning to do that on their way out. And they will find the same things, the blue boomerang and the Bombos medallion. And we'll see if Gozengatta saves and does check the sand pits. I would imagine so. Particularly if they are following the logic.
Yeah, and I mean, he got those silver arrows, and silver arrows are definitely worth the same.
Oh yes, definitely want to keep those. And it looks like they're going to check the left sand pit first. And SuperNinTaylor is resetting. Did not decide to keep their blue boomerang.
Nothing in left sand pit. I didn't realize SuperNinTaylor had saved at the sand pits. That made what he did make a lot more sense.
It looks like they are also going to do their snail clip and get their silvers.
I tried to do a snail clip in real life, but it really just made a mess.
And just rupees. All right, so where did the logic want us to go? What have we not checked?
Yeah, I'm pretty baffled on this.
Because what Gozengatta is doing right now is not in logic. Well, the bits are still not in logic yet. Because we need either Speed Booster or Dark World, logical Dark World access for the MIDs to be in logic themselves.
Yeah, I'm looking at I pulled up email tracker really quick to take, and I think that we have checked everything in logic in Super Metroid. So it's got to be something in the Link to the Past.
That's what Gozengatta saw that we didn't. The hook shot. Okay, so there is our logical progression.
Yep, that opens up left dark or right side dark death. I always mess this up.
Yeah,
right
it
side
opens
death.
up the East Death Mountain as well as Hera. And SuperNinTaylor is resetting.
And that's both live or light and dark Death Mountain in logic.
My guess, Night 2, is that Gozengatta saw the hook shot and is going to come back for it after they beat Dragon.
Or I should say, Dark Death Mountain is not in logic, but will be checkable by both runners because Gozengatta should get his Titan Smiths here short.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see the left item when Gozengatta checked it, and since he reset, I just assumed it was nothing.
I did not have a chance to see what it was. I can't imagine he would have not made sure he saw it.
Well, I think from a routing perspective, if he's planning to exit Meridia, on that side, it makes sense to reset out of there because you don't want to.
It's really slow to go pick it up and then go back around. It's much faster to just get it and then pick it up as you're leaving.
Yeah, exactly.
But the hammer is still speed booster locked. Hammer is still out of logic. So that's the thing with the mitts, is until we have speed booster, the mitts are locked from both directions. Well, or lamp.
The hook shot into Death Mountain is where the next logical progression is going to be. So we'll know that either speed is up on Death Mountain or something like, say, the lamp or some other means of progression, like Varia suit could.
Yeah, at this point it would have to be bow, maybe the Mire, speed booster. Well, we have not found the speed booster yet. That's what we're still looking for.
Yeah, we are looking for the speed booster, which will put our hammer in logic, which will put a lot of the other things we have in. Gozengatta doing a gravity jump to get out of Dragon's room. Gravity jump is a really neat trick that's relatively simple to do. It's one of my favorite tricks.
Yeah, it's not the most difficult trick to do. And I would in fact say it's easier than getting this mid-air IBJ down.
I agree with you there. Yeah, so we're going to see Gozengatta is going to go and pick up his hookshot now, and then he'll exit Meridia and head up to Death Mountain.
Yeah, and neither runner will be able to check the plasma location, and I'm guessing neither one of them is going to check tool either.
And Gozengatta did pick up the Titan's mitts. It just hasn't updated on the tracker yet. So we still need a lot of things in order to finish the game, coming up on an hour and a half. We still need Varia Suit, we need Speed Booster, we need the bow, we need the Cane of Samara rod.
Yeah, we don't need the Mire for this particular seed.
And we possibly don't need the flute.
Right. Well, we will need either the flute or space jump.
And we don't know if we need either or yet.
Well, logically we will need either space jump or the flute for lower Norfair access.
I'm sorry, I meant the either medallion.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. SuperNinTaylor busting into the pipe and flooding all of Norfair. Oh, Gozengatta.
I really do not like left sandpit, as you probably remember from my first race in this tournament.
Yeah, the left sandpit is terrible. Makes it look easy. So SuperNinTaylor is heading off into his Death Mountain checks. We'll see what kind of fun and excitement he finds here.
Yeah, and I think at the moment it's probably somewhat safe to say that SuperNinTaylor has the lead in this race. He has wreck ship down, which Gozengatta still has to do.
And I need to step away a minute. I'll be right back.
Let's see if we find anything here in Paradox Cave. And we find the Ether Medallion. Oh, and there's the Speed Booster. Okay, we are now in logic. And Aga is now on Fetch Quest life support. All right, and just a piece of heart on the floating island. SuperNinTaylor's going to head over to Tower of Hera. Gozengatta also gets their ether medallion and speed booster. So both runners now are in logic. And Gozengatta is also heading to Tower of Hera, while SuperNinTaylor manages to pull off the Hera pot. Nicely done. And so far, it just finds a compass there. So we found one item so far. And Gozengatta decides just, nope, one item is, that's it, not going to worry about the rest of Hera. Perhaps does not feel like doing the Hera pot, because at the moment they don't have a fire source to do the basement. And SuperNinTaylor gets an E-tank, so that means that there is just a map inside of the big chest. So was able to use that Hera pot to successfully bypass the big key. Meanwhile, Gozengatta is going to open up Turtle Rock, which we can see is the ether medallion. And it's going to make their way into Hookshot Cave. Oh no, just opening it up, and it's actually going to go into Paradox, or Super Bunny Cave first. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor is going through Spiral Cave. And Gozengatta finds the Spazer. Alright, and now we'll be making it their way into Hookshot Cave, and we can see what's there. While SuperNinTaylor is likely going to open up the portal to the Dark World themselves. They're choosing to take the one at the bottom, while Gozengatta did the one at the top. Oh, and Gozengatta finds the Varia suit. And the charge beam. Wow. Real value there. Alright, well that will give us runners access to Norfair. Yes, I would say that is go mode for SM. Not logically. Logically, again, we will still need we would still need either Space Jump or Flute for logical access to lower Norfair, but with gravity jumps and such, the runners will probably be fine going there anyway.
I see that we did find speed in Death Mountain.
Yes, speed was in Paradox Cave, and as you're about to see, we also found Varia and Charge Beam.
Wow. That's a loaded Death Mountain.
Yeah, and Gozengatta is going back because they did skip Spiral Cave, so they are going back to check it. Unfortunately, they will find it is just 3 bombs. Also, we found that Hera was fire locked. The big key is in the basement. but SuperNinTaylor did the Harapot and was able to complete the dungeon.
Looks like SuperNinTaylor's heading back into Norfair.
Yeah, now with the Vari suit can... Oh no, is resetting.
Didn't he just save?
Yes. Well, with Speed Booster can go right to Bubble Mountain or go to Ice Beam or any of those checks here in Norfair quite easily. But I guess decides they want to reset back up to the ship. I guess they want the X-ray?
That can't be what he's doing.
Or maybe he's going to check climb supers and
Yeah,
waterway.
that would be. I don't think that makes a huge amount of sense, but it makes more sense than going back for X.
Yeah, maybe just wanted to refill supers before heading down to Lower Norfair.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes.
Because Gozengatta is going to Ice Beam.
Finds more supers.
Yep, that's even they have the charge beam, but and Spazer and ice, but that's still not a very powerful beam combination.
Looks like SuperNinTaylor is going to check the shaft supers, and he's going to be disappointed to find, I want to say, a heart piece.
I believe that is correct.
And a crumble tower, we just have $50. Oh no, SuperNinTaylor, you've made mistakes.
Yeah, gonna have to reset the room. And Gozengatta is going to bet on Croc.
Unfortunately, Charged Spays are not nearly as good against Croc as Charged Plasma. I find it interesting he's not switching to. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, Charged Spacer works just fine. Only problem is if you're not using Charged Plasma, it really doesn't make a difference what you're using with Charge.
SuperNinTaylor finds his heart piece, which he will pick up. Just some missiles at Croc.
Pumping a few extra shots into Croc as he dies.
It always trips me out that even though you go over and check the energy tank, it doesn't show up on your map that you've been.
It will if you wait for Croc to die and for the map to reappear.
Right? Yeah. But
most runners don't bother to take the time to do that.
Yeah, there's no reason to wait. But there's always that little thought in my head. I checked that, right? I remember doing Croc, and I did check over there.
Yeah, when you're desperately trying to figure out where your last location is, and
Gozengatta realizing I think he needs to do a Shine Spark to get over to the item of SuperNinTaylor heading down Frog Speedway.
I mean, he did have other options, but that's certainly the easiest one.
That's true. Yeah, he could IB Jade for sure. And he finds a shovel.
Ah, just what we wanted, a fetch quest. And looks like he's gonna save here. That way, if there is nothing at the last 3 croc locations, he can just reset to this save and not have to come all the way back out. That's probably a real good decision.
Yep, can definitely save time. He checks the cosine room and finds 20 bucks.
And gets the D-boost after a couple attempts.
Meanwhile, on SuperNinTaylor's side, we see he is trying a gravity jump to get through the lava dive. This is, of course, I think still out of logic.
Oh yes, very. Gravity jumps are very much out of logic.
Well, I mean with speed booster, because I know you can speed booster up through here too.
But that's
a really advanced trick.
More difficult trick than just pulling off the gravity jump.
Oh, when he got the wall jump and just missed it. I actually had to learn how to do this gravity jump last night in my race.
And I must admit, looking at Gozengatta's screen, I generally prefer to do the check up to Indiana Jones first before doing grapple. That way, the whole speedway is, you only need to clear the speedway once, and then you're good. And he does find the wave beam at Indiana Jones.
Which you're definitely going to keep. The wave beam is a huge damage increase, as well as just a little bit of quality.
And I believe that was it the Quake medallion? What was it? There was something behind the wave gate in Brinstar, wasn't there?
No, it was nothing.
Or was it? Oh, it was just like a.
I think it was a heart piece.
Heart piece or something. Yeah.
So I think, at least according to the tutorial I watched, so don't take this as the gospel, but I think you just want to do a straight gravity jump out of here. I don't think he needs to do the wall jumps.
No, since he does not have high jump boots, he does need to do the wall jump.
Yes, high jump boot. Looks like he's either given up or he's going to go farm some help. That is, of course, the danger of doing gravity jumps in lava, is when you turn your gravity suit off, you take damage. Or I suppose that's acid, not lava.
That is lava, because you don't take damage from it otherwise.
Oh, good point. Acid does damage all the time. Gozengatta waiting for these waivers to cooperate. They're both flying really high. That'll work if he gets there in time, I think. Nope.
No, just a little too far away.
Not really sure how that shot he shot didn't shoot one of the waivers. Meanwhile, we see SuperNinTaylor doing the same trick and getting it much quicker.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything of interest up here. Just so far, 5 rupees. It's space jump. Well,
that's a heck of a climb.
And that is our logical lower Norfair access.
So that puts all of Super Metroid into logic.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if SuperNinTaylor just immediately takes that and goes down after possibly farming up some health. Oh, you're right. Error's correct. It was the bug net behind the wave gate in Brinstar.
And does feel real bad when he comes back around and makes that check after he does lower Norfair.
Well, I don't know if he's doing lower Norfair or if he's going to take the actual game intended route to Bubble Mountain. Yeah, it looks like he's going to take Remembered Highway.
I was gonna say, I didn't actually know this is how you're supposed to.
Yeah, this is the way the game intends you to get to Bubble Mountain.
Which the tricky part, I suppose, of this is he'll hopefully have an easier time with the waiver going back to Norfair Reserve, but that's still not necessarily a gimme from the.
And we get a high five from the runners as Gozengatta is going into Bubble Mountain while SuperNinTaylor is leaving it. Oh, and there's the lamp.
That puts Aggie on logic.
Yep. So if for some reason we can't find the cane, can't find the mushroom, and still are looking for logical progression, we may very well see the runners.
I hate Gozengatta just fell through the spikes. That hurt.
Yeah, he's going to have to go back up and try again. It looks like SuperNinTaylor is not going to take Remembered Highway, but is going to go back to Bubble Mountain, possibly to do some farming before heading down to Lower Norfair. And looks like they are deciding to do, no? They're going to go, they've decided they are going to head to Croc themselves.
Kind of an interesting choice since he really wanted to do Lower Norfair. Oh, okay, he's just taking the
Just
energy refill.
Yeah. Now, we did not see the cathedral item, did we?
Not that I'm aware of. I will say it's worth pointing out they both are still pretty light on the energy tanks. I mean, Gozengatta only has 2 energy tanks, and I believe 2 reserve tanks, while
Yeah,
SuperNinTaylor is running 4.
This is a low tank count indeed, but for experienced runners, particularly those that have done any percent, this is not an amount that they would be unusual for them to have.
Alright, now Gozengatta's gotta get across this gap here. I hope they'll gotta get the waiver to play nice.
And gets it. And thankfully, we'll soon no longer have any of these movement concerns because they will be getting their space jump.
SuperNinTaylor is gonna go check the acid room here. You need space jump in order to get this dude to lower the acid.
Yep, this Chorizo only likes space jump equipped Samus.
It'd be nice if he would tell you that, like if you got to him and you didn't have space jump, like it was like, hey, go come back later.
And looks like it's just missiles. And the missile location and 10 arrows at the supers.
Uh-oh, GT's unhinged.
I must admit, since SuperNinTaylor saved, I might have reset out of that and just done a green gate glitch to get to screw attack in the Mire area.
Yeah, I mean, I almost felt like he was purposely dying. I don't know why he's farming supers. He had a lot.
The Lumberjack has the cape. The magic powder is on Bumper Ledge. So at the moment, we have a possibly needed progression chain attached to Aga.
I missed what was that screw attack.
Yeah, I did as well. All right, and SuperNinTaylor gonna check the Mire shed. And finding 20 rupees in an E-tank.
Gozengatta making his way to Lord Norfair. Successfully dodges the fireballs. That's a Quake medallion for Metroid.
Okay, so that means hopefully we will not have our runners will not have to go into Misery Mire this seed. Considering that at the moment they would be unable to complete the dungeon.
Yep, we are of course still looking for the bow, the fire rod, the
And either the flute or the mirror for access to desert.
Well, we would need a book or mirror.
Oh, right. Sorry.
It's all good. I've said plenty of silly things tonight.
But I'm sure if they found the mirror, they would much rather also find the flute than have to go through the lava dive again.
Absolutely. 3000%. That's a long way to go to get back to that lower Norfair portal. Coming up in Mickey Mouse, we've got just some missiles as Gozengatta's taking on Gordon Trezo. He's opting to just use charged space.
Yeah, he does not have a lot of supers, so it's not a bad decision.
SuperNinTaylor is playing the floor is lava because the floor is actually lava.
Yeah, if you wait too long, you will end up getting burned. Or dissolved, I guess, because floor is not just lava, it is acid. Alright, now on Gozengatta's side, we will see what exactly was just a reserve tank.
And there was nothing on GT.
Yeah, GT was missiles and 10 arrows. Gozengatta going to do their own check of the Mire shed. That E-tank will be actually quite useful for them.
SuperNinTaylor find. Sorry?
Oh, so it's going to stay the same thing.
SuperNinTaylor finds $20 at the Power Bombs of Shame. Shamefully picks up the $20.
Yep, so named because in an any percent race, normally the only time a runner would pick up those power bombs is if they got to that point and they were out of power bombs and couldn't progress.
Yep, your ammo is pretty carefully rationed in any percent, so if you need to pick up those power bombs, it meant you used one where you shouldn't have. We'll see how much SuperNinTaylor decides to farm up for Ridley.
Yeah, I'd imagine with supers doing double damage against Ridley, that is going to be his best way of dealing with the fight. So he will probably want to farm up to at least 30 supers before going in.
Yeah, I don't know what the damage difference is between Charge Ice Spazer and Charge Ice Spazer Wave, but I don't think the first is a very good option.
Meanwhile, it looks like Gozengatta is choosing to do their farming here against these Rippers. These Rippers will always drop super missiles.
Which, given their power bomb count, I think I like the decision to farm there a lot better than I like the decision to farm here before Ridley.
Yeah, though with all the pirates that Gozengatta will have to fight along the way, he will likely also need to do some farming. Before going to Ridley.
We'll see how high up SuperNinTaylor is going to go. Ridley, of course, takes 30 supers to defeat.
Gozengatta trying to use power bombs here instead of using up their supers.
Where did they find Spring Ball? Was that on Death Mountain?
Spring Ball was... No, that was earlier, I think. I don't know at this point.
It's Spring Ball. Nobody pays attention.
Oh, maybe that was what he picked up in Pod, that we didn't know what it was.
Oh, I bet that's it.
Yes, he did kill Dragon. It's just not marked on the tracker.
Vanilla Ridley Energy Tank. Is this even randomized? One of the rare times we're finding that vanilla energy tank is probably kind of like, yeah, that's not too...
Alright, so SuperNinTaylor now has all 4 of their Super Metroid bosses down that they need to defeat before they could fight Mother Brain.
Well, there's half of the magic powder, fake powder equation. We find the mushroom and the firefly room.
Yep, we just need to find Red Cane to safely know that Aga is no longer in play.
Because I really hope Red Cane is from powder, is behind powder.
That would be quite a trolly seed. I really, at this point, I'm not sure I really want to see our runners have to deal with that.
SuperNinTaylor getting bodied by one of the three musketeers.
Yeah,
Three Migos.
They could defeat these if they wanted to, but it's again a lot of shots.
Gozengatta does not pick up the rupees of shame.
And SuperNinTaylor's going to get their mushroom. And Gozengatta takes down the metal pirates.
He's going to need to do some farming here himself. He's down to 25 super. Just some power bombs at the spring ball maze.
That's always nice to see. And 20 rupees at the front of the maze. And finds the book at Frankersy.
So that's does.
And decides their health is low enough that they are going to just kill these three musketeers rather than just body their way through them. And Gozengatta gets the really low percentage power drop from both bugs.
The SuperNinTaylor is saying he's had enough. Just shoots missiles like a madman. So we're 2 hours into this race. This is a great time to remind all of you folks as Gozengatta takes on Ridley and SuperNinTaylor escapes Ridley, that you should give these guys a follow. Give them a follow on their Twitch channel. I'm sure it'll make them happy to see that they get picked up some followers. They're doing a heck of a job, giving us an exciting race that, 2 hours in, still really kind of too close to say who's gonna pull it out. Also like to give another shout out to our tracker, J3W. He's been doing a great job tracking. He's clicking the buttons, which is harder than it sounds. The buttons don't always play. And I'll give a shout out to my co-commentator, Chad Brown, who's put up with me not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yes, and a shout out to my co-commentator, Eleanor Lamb. Alright, and Gozengatta has Ridley down, gotten their E-tank, and is headed on their way out of Lower Norfair as well. SuperNinTaylor now will be headed... he's going to check... Oh, there was Spring Ball, okay. Was that Cathedral?
Thanks for answering the questions, SuperNinTaylor. Chat would like the commentators to remind everybody that you should stay hydrated, which that's sound advice.
Yeah, that's very important.
I just talked to my doctor today, and she told me to make sure that I stay hydrated.
Well, that was not necessarily the best way to stay hydrated. The best way to stay hydrated is by drinking things like water. And try to avoid the diuretics.
My trick to staying hydrated is I just go stand in the moat for a few hours, let it seep in outside of Rick.
All right, we'll see where SuperNinTaylor is headed to next, because we didn't really find any clear progression, just fetch quest type.
Well, we did find that book for desert.
Oh, that's true. We have the book, we have the lamp. Desert is now completable.
Also, he does have that mushroom that while he's up here, he may opt to turn that in.
Yeah, or knowing that where the powder is, may decide to save the mushroom just in case he finds the cave. I would be very hesitant to turn in the mushroom if that unlocked that particular terrain. Oh, finds the fire rod in Bonk Rocks.
That's a big find. That puts Skullwoods completable.
Yep, so that gives the runners 2 completable crystal dungeons. And looks like SuperNinTaylor is headed to desert.
He, of course, cannot check Bombos because he doesn't have the mirror, and you need the mirror to check Bombo.
Gozengatta is also having to kill the 3 musketeers due to low health. And we will need to see where Gozengatta goes now. Desert was indeed boots locked.
It's going to be either the small key or the big key on the chest, and it's the big chest. Big key on the torque.
Which means the small key will be in the chest on the left side.
I would really expect Gozengatta to head to desert. We'll see if he does the 2 boots checks first.
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable. The only other check that would be just if he decided to go check Ether Tablet since he was already up on Death Mountain. Oh, and also Gozengatta has not done Tower Para. Because they didn't have a fire source and I guess didn't feel like doing the Hera pot. So it looks like they are going to... Gozengatta is going up to do Tower of Hera right now, and we'll probably check the Ether Tablet at the same time.
SuperNinTaylor just finding $20 in...
Well, the citrus clip would be, in fact, beyond just being out of logic, it would be not allowed.
Gozengatta having an argument with the Ether Pillar. Just gets $50 from the sky.
Gozengatta going to go to the basement to get their big key. Setting up the coffee break.
Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor is about to take on Lanmola. He's got silver arrows, but no bow, unfortunately. but the fire rod does just as good. And at 2 hours and 14 minutes, we get our second crystal.
And briefly, we'll take a 2-dungeon lead over Gozengatta.
So it's just a search for the last 2 items. We need a bow, we need a red cane. We may need a bunch of other stuff, but those 2 we definitely need.
And I'm curious as to where we will see SuperNinTaylor going next. And it seems he changed his mind of what he wanted to do. The other dungeon that they actually would have right now is Ice Palace.
Yep, Ice Palace, we can do most of Misery Mine. Not that anybody wants to do that. It's a terrible choice.
Yeah, particularly since it's a pendant.
Looks like Super Nin's gonna head for the Ice Palace play, which I can't blame him. That seems like a good. There's 3. You can full clear it.
Yeah.
You've got bombos and half magic. It's not gonna really get much easier.
And otherwise, I believe we only had 1 item left in Skullwoods.
I know that we got at least 1 item. I'm not sure if we found.
Yeah, I only remember seeing 1, but that doesn't mean there wasn't a second that I missed.
Gozengatta heading for his Moldorm kill as SuperNinTaylor takes on some mean penguin. Finds the big key.
And we will not be seeing an icebreaker from SuperNinTaylor today because they do not have the King of Samaria. So instead, we will probably just be seeing the old-fashioned Ice Palace bomb jumps.
Back in my day, that's the only way you did Ice Palace. I'm just kidding. Back in my day, you did Ice Palace 3 times or however many times you're supposed to do it for real. This fan sense. Like, I feel like if I could go back and talk to like 12-year-old me, or however old I was when this game came out, and said like, okay, you can use a bomb to jump over pits, you would have.
I think 12-year-old me would have said, but you'll take damage doing that. Why would you want to do that?
That sounds like a completely reasonable thing to say. That's actually something I go with a lot. That, I mean, it's never going to cost me a race, but hurts my time is, you know, like SuperNinTaylor, they're opted to not pick that ferry up. I would have stopped and picked it up.
Yeah, I notice a lot of the good runners have no problem running around with very low heart counts.
Yeah, even in places where I feel pretty comfortable, I'm still like, oh, I want to be full health. I want to be full health. Feels. SuperNinTaylor going through the Ice Age room.
Gozengatta following SuperNinTaylor in the desert.
A nice little hammer dash there from SuperNinTaylor.
SuperNinTaylor finds a lot of keys up here.
Which I think, given the number of keys he had, is not going to be Mario locked.
That sounds right.
Uh-oh.
Okay, gets the second one. All right, so there's one item left between iced tea and cold stare. We'll see whether SuperNinTaylor decides to gamble, but nope, he's just going to make the check.
And, I'd like to take a moment to just thank all you fine people in chat, hanging out, having a good time watching some SMZ3. Hope y'all are having a lovely night. Everyone's staying safe and healthy. I'll let Annie fare SuperNinTaylor the business.
Now that anti-fairy did not want SuperNinTaylor in its space. SuperNinTaylor finds the red mail. It's the last item in Ice Palace.
SuperNinTaylor now with 2 blocks down there.
And is going to open up the hole down to cold stare.
And it looks like he's going to opt to use fire rod strategies and not use combos to save mana.
Yeah, it allows you to get some good positioning to get cold stare trapped in the corner.
That was probably the most textbook cold stare kill I've ever seen.
Yes, that was a very well done fight. Meanwhile, Gozengatta is entering their Landmolus fight.
And we'll see where SuperNinTaylor is going to head next. I'm guessing Skullwoods? I really just want to see one of our runners take that Aga Dip.
I think Skullwoods makes a lot of sense. It's the completable crystal. Particularly now that he's got red nail, tempered sword, half magic. This should be a pretty easy dungeon for him.
Looks like Gozengatta is going to follow in SuperNinTaylor's footsteps and do Alice.
Yes, unfortunately for Gozengatta, because he is behind, the fact that he keeps doing everything that SuperNinTaylor did is really going to keep him behind.
Yeah, he needs to make a gamble that his opponent's not going to make. Which there haven't really been any major snafus on his side, so he may not feel behind, but he's actually behind.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is he probably doesn't necessarily feel behind because Deceit has not been particularly trolly in terms of the item locations. The only real thing that sort of slowed down both runners was how late they put off Meridia.
SuperNinTaylor taking on everyone's favorite Mafia. makes easy work, and gets the flute.
Well, that doesn't really open up any progression for us.
It does at least make the decision to go into Misery Mire slightly more palatable, and I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's still not a completable dungeon, and it's a pendant.
Would you do Aghanim before you dipped Misery Mire? Aren't you glad you don't have to make that choice? Gozengatta having some trouble with the Ice Palace bomb drop here. I think he's got it this time. Nope.
SuperNinTaylor is... They have not checked Ice Beam yet, so it looks like they're making those 2 checks.
Gozengatta gets the Ice Palace bomb drop. I don't know if they always race as a pug, but that can throw you off if you're using a different sprite.
I suppose one thing that I might do if I was the runners right now would be to go and check Mushroom all by itself, being ready to reset if it turned out to be nothing.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that neither of our runners have made that check of the mushroom to see if it's an item to keep or to reset.
Fire Rod was at Bonk Rocks.
And SuperNinTaylor will eventually get his wave beam.
And this makes sense for SuperNinTaylor. This is probably the highest volume of checks that he has available to himself in one location.
I haven't. Does the map turn off when you fight the other bosses in Super Metroid?
I don't really pay attention.
SuperNinTaylor picks up Croc's missile pack. Pretty grisly way to go.
Yeah, having all of your skin dissolved off in acid would not be pretty.
Both our runners are just making checks that the other runner has already made. SuperNinTaylor is making the same play that Gozengatta did, where he's going to save, so that way if Croc is a bust, he can reset. We know that he's going to find the wave beam, and even though he's cleared almost all of Metroid, I still think you keep the wave beam.
Well, what I always say about Croc is, no matter what you do, Croc will die. Either he dies because you scare him into the acid, or he dies because he's on the planet when it explodes.
That seems like a completely reasonable thing to say. SuperNinTaylor speed boosts right into the ceiling.
And then remembers, oh yeah, I can just use screw attack.
Space jump.
Space jump, yes, sorry.
Gozengatta is using the Bombo strategy over on the left to take out Cold Stare.
And also gets Cold Stare pinned in the corner, but doesn't manage to keep him there all the way.
I would have liked to see the switch to the fire round.
Did Gozengatta go to Bonk Rocks?
Good point. I would have liked to see Gozengatta go to Bonk Rocks and pick up Fire Rod before doing Ice Path.
Well, we may very well see them do that now, as they head on their way to Skullwoods. Well, they won't go to Skullwoods until they find the fire rods, so.
Which, I mean, despite us saying that SuperNinTaylor had a pretty big lead, I kind of feel like it's evened up. That crack check really cost SuperNinTaylor a lot of his advantage.
Yeah, since that was a check that Gozengatta had already done, that allows Gozengatta to make up that time. Same as if SuperNinTaylor decides to dip pod without the bow. And SuperNinTaylor's resetting back to Super Metroid. I'm not sure if they're planning to check Waterway or.
Unfortunately, Gozengatta went right past Bonk Rocks.
Well, maybe they had already done it and we just missed it. We'll have to see if they menu. SuperNinTaylor taking the save at criteria. This makes me think that they are planning to go down to Waterway.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Waterway is one of the 3 checks that they have left in Super Metroid, along with Plasma and Shack Tool.
Shack Tool is still out of logic because we haven't found the grapple beam. But I do believe Plasma's in logic.
No, Plasma was also out of logic because we do not have Screw Attack or Plasma.
Right. We can't kill the pirates, so we'd be stuck.
Gozengatta has not killed Phantoon. He has not been to the wreck ship yet.
And he is leaving Skullwood, so he must definitely not have the fire. Which he's gonna like really bad when he opens up Bonk Rocks and sees they were right there.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little. If he did not feel behind before, he will certainly feel behind after that.
I'm thinking he's gonna go get the Smith, so hopefully he'll get the Smith and reset back to Sanctuary. And just 100 rupees in Waterway. Hopefully he'll remember Bonk Rocks.
I imagine we'll probably see SuperNinTaylor do this Smith's chain now as well. Otherwise, they just have the Ether Tablet and the same choice of dipping pod without the bow.
You know what? We have had the green pendant for so long, we haven't seen what it.
That's true. Neither runner has turned in the green pendant. I don't believe that pseudo screw is in logic for normal.
I don't believe it is. I believe that you are correct, and Plasma is locked out at first at the moment.
And Sasrahala just has a missile pack.
It always makes me laugh that it's so weird the coincidences that happen in these races. You know, they both got that green pendant, what, an hour and a half ago? And then they both turn it in within like 30 seconds of each. That's that goes with the bonk rocks again, which makes me start to seriously worry he's forgotten about them.
Or thought he already checked them and hasn't realized that he actually hasn't. But it does look like SuperNinTaylor is making the mushroom play.
Smiths just have some bombs. Terrorists.
And we'll see, depending on what this is, whether he will hard reset out of it. And he's thinking, does he want to hard reset or does he want to save and quit? And he is hard resetting. That makes a lot of sense. And hope you can find the bow.
Gozengatta's
Canis
gonna check the dig spot. More power bombs, not what we need. You know, I'm generally of the more power bombs is good camp, but when you're sitting at 35 power bombs, you're really, really stressed.
Yeah, and Gozengatta is not even going to save and quit. Out of that, he's just immediately going to reset. And it looks like he is headed to the Rex ship. Meanwhile, it looks like SuperNinTaylor is going to do their shovel. Check. Gozengatta gets their Wake medallion.
It's also worth noting that Gozengatta was in the village, Kakariko village, twice and did not activate his. Which probably not a big deal at the end of the day, but I mean, while you're in Kakariko, you
I mean,
you
at this
want
point, unless you're actually going to Misery Mire, I don't know how much help it is. But I probably would have activated it, as SuperNinTaylor is doing.
Gozengatta going through the not so spiky road.
Besides, they do not need that heart container.
For as energy starved as this seed has been on the Super Metroid side, it's been a pretty healthy seed on the Link to the Past.
Yeah, and with that red mail, the runners don't need a lot of hearts.
See where SuperNinTaylor decides to head.
I mean,
purple chest.
My guess is, yeah, they have the Smith chain and they have pod, which we already know isn't going to be anything, but they don't know that yet.
I appreciate SuperNinTaylor's optimism that he's going to find the mirror here in Hammerfag. Oh, it's the red paint.
That's something they really wanted to find.
So we will not be seeing Aghanim today. Aghanim is dead.
And that is another check that Gozengatta could have done, but chose to skip. All right. So at 2 hours and 39 minutes, Aga is now finally taken off of the possibilities.
I'm sad.
At least unless the runners really want the cape and the magic powder.
I feel like with red mail and 14 hearts, even I'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah, I would particularly, I think they found what, 3 potion bottles?
That sounds right.
So they're well equipped to just use potions if they actually absolutely need to instead. All right, and it was nothing anyway.
Oh, that would have been amazing to see somebody go through that whole chain and get that.
All right, but with that Canis and Mario, we do now have Turtle Rock in Logic.
Yep, and you're really hoping for Bo in Turtle Rock at this point. It's your last item. You really don't want to have to do Misery Mine. You don't want to see the mirror.
Of course, SuperNinTaylor does not have any magic right now.
There's the full magic pot right inside of Turtle Rock.
But you can't open it without
Oh
magic.
yeah, good point.
And I did SuperNinTaylor did not open it the first time they were up here, did they?
I don't believe so.
Gozengatta did.
No, he probably had the same thought I did. Oh, this works out really well. I just used all my magic and there's a full container right inside.
Oh, well, he's got a green potion that he
It's
can...
green, he's fine.
And yeah, and he immediately goes to that green potion. Yep, Super Bunny Cave also has the magic refill, but since they don't have the mirror, if they went to Super Bunny Cave, they would have to reset back to the light world to open up Turtle Rock.
So if you're a SuperNinTaylor fan, you are hoping to see the bow here. If you're hoping for Gozengatta, you want the bow to be somewhere else. Just a reminder that this is a Group C matchup, and it is winner go home. The winner advances to the playoffs. The loser advances to out of the tournament. So both of these guys have won a race and lost a race.
Yep. SuperNinTaylor was the 2nd seed in the group, while Gozengatta was the 4th seed. And we find a small key in the first chest in Turtle Rock.
Gozengatta says no to the red boomerang. What a monster. It would have matched Link's tunic.
And with the big key in the Chain Chomp's chest, that means the fire rod is locking. Turtle Rock at that point, which means that should Gozengatta find the Cane of Samaria before they find the Fire Rod, they will not be able to get very far in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, really hoping he just hasn't routed it in, and he hasn't thought he's already got it. Just a piece of heart on the floating big key chest.
Well, there's a lot of bad things that could end up happening because of this. Like you could end up with the Mire on Vitreous and then the bow in Mimic Cave. That would also be bad.
Yeah, doing Turtle Rock and orphaning the orphaning Mimic Cave always does a little bit bad feeling. Meanwhile, Gozengatta has just about finished his wreck ship, so we'll see where he's gonna head.
I would have to imagine the runners are really hoping they find the bow before they find the Mire anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Just so they do not have to even think about going into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, you want to see that bow before you see the Mire.
Particularly since the Mire isn't actually required. I mean, once they get the bow, that's their go mode. So one item away from go mode right now. And that's the key. But unfortunately, because he's still looking for the bow, he still has to check the other chests here on Laser Bridge. There's a reserve tank. And there's an E-tank. So there's some of that health that we were looking for Super Metroid.
Better late than never? Question mark? Question mark?
Yeah, I suppose. All right.
Interesting that Gozengatta has decided he's going to go ahead and take out Mother.
Yeah, well, he's already. While he tries to think of where to go next, this is just a sort of something to keep the seed progressing. SuperNinTaylor already is on to the second stage of Trinex. And down goes the multi-headed beast.
And he wins a pack of missiles. So Turtle Rock, not the answer to our bow issue. Which I think for as commentators means it's gotta be Misery Mire?
Yeah, I expect we'll see him go to pod first because he has not dipped that. However, since only needs bow for progression, he probably will quickly see that, oh, it's bow locked and immediately leave again.
Looks like you called it. Or he's gonna do Eastern?
Had he even dipped? I guess he hadn't dipped Eastern before?
Yeah, I think Gozengatta was the other one who dipped Eastern.
And that's part of why Gozengatta, of course, was behind, because he did some of these checks that SuperNinTaylor had not done.
Gozengatta does not even attempt baby skip, which is a hard skip to do on a good day. It's really hard to do without high jump boots. You can do it, it's just real hard.
Yeah. Imaginative runners have found all sorts of ways of doing it with various sets of equipment. I personally don't know any of them.
Me neither. I just started to say baby. Give. We'll see if Gozengatta goes for a Zebetite. He's going for the standard Zebetite skip. He's having some trouble with it. SuperNinTaylor are going to show us the dark rooms in the light.
Alright, let's see if Gozengatta can get it, and makes it on their third attempt. Having never found screw attack, they don't have to worry about... They didn't have to worry about turning it off. And they finish with Mother Brain 1 and move on to Mother Brain 2.
I was gonna say I would expect to see a super missile strat here on Mother Brain 2.
Yeah, and it will take 60 supers to take down Mother Brain 2. If they fall below 60 supers and have not finished off Mother Brain, it will take 3 missiles for every 1 super that they've missed. However, since they started with more than 60, and it does not look like they are missing that many shots at all, they should be good.
I'm not sure I saw a single miss. We'll see if he's going to go for stand-up.
No particular need to do so. They wouldn't really get much damage and doesn't really have the health for it.
Good point.
Well, by a happy accident, someone was looking at the games and discovered that the two games do not share memory locations, and so they could be put together into one single game.
I would say too that in terms of like retro speedrunning game randomizers anyways, I think A Link to the Past and Super Metroid are probably the two most popular.
Certainly from the Super Nintendo era.
Yeah, I was listening to somebody the other night describe, and I guess that a Super Nintendo cartridge has a big block of really slow memory and a block of really fast memory, and for whatever reason, A Link to the Past only uses the slow memory, and Super Metroid only uses the fast memory, so you can combine them into one ROM and everything works. That said, the developer total, I mean, I don't know how I don't know how he coded the portals between games and stuff like that. That's super impressive to me. So big shout outs to Total, the developer for the combo randomizer. Meanwhile, Gozengatta has finished with their Mother Brain cutscene and is rainbowing it up. SuperNinTaylor's doing the desperate purple chest check. which I'm pretty sure if it's not this, it's Mire. That was some aggressive fluting.
Yeah, both games start in the rain. Both games involve a device for hooking onto things.
I always want to call Zelda 3 Super Legend of Zelda, because I feel like some of the Super Nintendo games have Super in the title, like Super Metroid.
Both have bombs. Both have 2 armor upgrades.
Both star female protagonists.
Both have names that have nothing to do with the name of the main character.
What are you talking about? Are you telling me that the person in the left screen is not Metroid?
No, and the person on the right is not Zelda.
What? I think Zelda is a protagonist. I guess you couldn't say she's the protagonist. I was mainly being silly.
And SuperNinTaylor must not have been counting their items since they're going back into Hera to get the big key.
Yeah, that is interesting. Must think he left something in the big chest. Although he should be able to confirm that with a quick map check or inventory.
Because I'm pretty sure I counted 2 items besides the big chest.
Is he stuck or AFK? I assume he took a quick bio break, which is totally reasonable for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's been a long seed so far. Runners are often in go mode at this stage.
Yeah, runners are sometimes finished by this stage. Meanwhile, Gozengatta is heading down Green Brim. Heading to Waterway, maybe? He's taking the rainbow beam places we don't normally see it.
Yeah, I would have to think it's Waterway. That's about all that's left.
Yeah, so he's definitely just missing the map, which he should know.
Lots of looking at the menu to not notice that that's all that's left. But we will get to see a nice Herapod again.
Like, I know he's not even looking at that part of the menu, but still, it's just like his taunting right here. Look, right here.
So at this point, given what the runners have checked, I think we are going to have to see a Mire play. Because I don't believe we have anything left that's in logic. Of course, for those runners hoping for some real troll, we still have Plasma, we still have Shack Tool.
Did we see X-Ray?
Not yet. Oh yes, no.
SuperNin was going to, but then he abandoned it.
Yeah, so no, I don't think we have.
Which he might think he did this. Let's see
So
if it's
this
gonna.
might be Gozengatta's chance to come back.
Yeah, if this is the bow, this is huge. It's
But
not
it's
huge.
just missiles. Alright, so I think we just have Mire. So this, I assume at this point, this has to be bow or something leading to bow.
It's either got to be the bow or the mirror. And for our runner's
Or
sake,
the
let's hope it's the
grapple
bow.
beam, or plasma, or screw attack.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about those one-off Super Metroid chests.
Which either one of those would be really bad because they are just one-offs.
Yeah, especially like I'm not even sure what's worse, plasma or Shack Tool.
Well, the worst would be if they had to do both.
I like the way you think.
You know, get a nice grapple to Mire to plasma at Mimic Cave or something ridiculous like that.
Boy, you really just want to be up all night.
Well, the thing about these is if you call it, it won't actually end up happening.
That's fair. We did just see a red rupee as our first item here in Misery Mire. Once again, as we see what happens in Misery Mire here, please take a moment, if you haven't, to follow our runners. They're doing a heck of a job racing for us, and it's been very entertaining. Hop over their Twitches and give them a follow. You can find them by doing !R, as Sinus has just been kind enough to do in chat. Also, please be sure to follow our tracker, J3W, who is don't like that, I believe, in Twitch chat. And once again, a shout out to my co-com, Chad Rome. Enjoyable as always.
Yes, and Mike Cocom, Eleanor Lamb. And by the way, if we're going to cross off really awful logic chains,
Oh no.
um,
Oh no.
really, okay, that would be the start of one. But I was thinking the really worst logical chain would be the grapple. To the Mire. With either plasma or screw attack on pedestal.
Oh jeez. Ped is not dead.
Head is not dead.
So Cranky Hero 72 in chat, just really quick since I see you asking some questions. You have to complete both games. The order in which you complete them doesn't matter, and once you complete one, you can return to it as. So since Gozengatta has done Super Metroid, the planet didn't explode. It's still there. So in that case, Crocomire will never die if he hadn't been killed already. And there's 4 places in each game where you can transition between the two. There's a criteria transition that takes you to outside Link's house. There's a Death Mountain transition that takes you to Norfair. There's a transition at the Dark Ice Rod Cave, which takes you to the back of Meridia. And then one of the Mire sheds takes you to Golden Chorizo, and that's how you get between the 2 games. And I mean, right now, Link to the Past is standard 7/7 open mode. There's no like Randomizer or Key Sanity or anything like that.
Yeah, as our tracker said, they probably are not doing PED because they have not checked PED to see whether it is needed or not. And they're just making the assumption that it isn't.
Which, to be clear, is the correct assumption. The odds of pad being needed at this point are very, very, very small. Not zero, but not much higher than zero.
I think Shack Tool is our only check left. Plasma is not currently in logic because the runners do not have screw attack or plasma.
That said, you could sync sequence break to at least see what was there if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine if you're going to go and check Shack, I imagine SuperNinTaylor will check plasma as well. Particularly if Shack ends up being like the Mire or something, it's like, okay, let's just be absolutely certain it isn't something stupid.
Yeah, because you could, in theory, in theory, you could have sequence broken two Shack Tool and maybe saved yourself a whole bunch of hassle.
Yeah. We could have used ice. The runners could have used ice clip to get to Shack Tool earlier. But at the time they did Meridian, they did not. Have space jump, so it would have not been a real fun way of getting. Well, I guess that doesn't matter with the ice clip.
It wouldn't surprise me if these guys just don't know the ice clip. That clip is a really tricky one to pull off. And while we, oops, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Gozengatta is making their way into Turtle Rock, unfortunately, without the ice rod.
Fire rod.
Or fire rod, sorry. So
and
they are
as
only going to be able to do the 2 checks.
Sorry. just trying to get a plug with the sponsor in here, man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Please check out the sponsor for this tournament, rank1.global. That's a cool little site where you can kind of set up a gamer profile. It's free. What's not free is the money they're giving. Interesting. I'm lost. Anyways, to finish the plug, what's not free is the money they're giving the top 4 runners of this tournament. So, we've got their rank 1 profiles for both these runners below their names. Go ahead and check them out. Join the site yourself. So where is progression?
That is a good question, which the runners, I'm sure, are really hoping to find out the answer to themselves.
That's possible, Fuzzy Games, but I think the concern with Gozengatta at this point is that he believes he already checked Bonk Rock. Like, I'm not sure what he thinks he missed. I mean, maybe he thinks he missed Showcase Showdown? We'll see if he goes left here.
Or he's just, because he maybe forgot he has the flute and is going to Mire this way?
Oh yeah, that's possible. And plasma is 300 rupees. Okay, well, we clearly are missing
Okay, so what checks are we forgetting about? Just like the runners are forgetting about them.
Help us out, chat. What are we forgetting? We can't do Swamp Palace. We don't have the mirror.
No, we checked Speed Booster. Speed Booster is X-ray. Or, I mean, should the Speed Booster missile, the Speed Booster Reserve
Wreck Ship Reserve.
and Wreck Ship Reserve is X-ray. Speed Booster locked location.
Okay, so SuperNinTaylor is going back to Link to the Past. I mean, it can't be PED because we don't have the mirror yet.
I might, at this point, check it just to be sure, because if you find out that it is the bow on there, then you're like, okay, well now I know what I'm looking.
Yeah, no, I think that's an entirely logical choice to make, is to go check. We got both items out of Misery Mire.
Oh, the Main Street missile. No, that was
Big bomb. It's gonna be the bow in Pyramid.
That's right.
Or the mirror.
Okay.
I forgot all about the 5-6 crystals, otherwise I would have been harping on.
Right, because we never saw the Light World map check to know which Light World dungeons were the red crystal.
That's true, we haven't ever seen a Light World check. Alright, so is it gonna be the mirror? Is it gonna be the bow? It's the bow!
We are in go mode at 3 hours and 11 minutes. Unfortunately, without the mirror, SuperNinTaylor is not going to be able to just route these two dungeons in consecutively, but will instead have to finish one and then reset, save and quit, and then do the other.
Well, Helmasaur might have the mirror.
That's true. We have not seen what's on Helmasaur. I think he did the snail clip.
I don't think he did. Oh, yes, he does. He's got him right there on our screen.
Yeah. And SuperNinTaylor not even bothering to check the rest of the dungeon, just going straight to Helmasaur.
He does need a small key, which he is almost certainly going to get in this
I
sphere,
believe the chest through the bomb wall was a small key.
he probably feels super far behind for getting the big bomb as long as he did. He's got to be thinking, boy, I wasted all that time in Misery Mire and then checked Tool and then Flat.
Yeah, and probably the same way was because he had never checked the map, is only when he menued and said, wait, I have both red crystals.
And Gozengatta taking a death, which I don't think was intentional. Nope. I mean, I think that there's no world where if you remember you have the 5-6, you check a pendant Misery Mire before you turn in the 5-6.
Yeah. So but he didn't check the map, and Probably just
Yep.
hadn't paid attention to the crystals.
Nope, I stored it in my brain as we'll figure it out when they do the light world check, and then they never did the light world check, so that never got noticed in my. I don't understand your question, J3W.
Well, at the moment, you have Eastern set as being one of the 5/6 crystals. I think that's why it wouldn't let you do it.
Yeah, we got on Gozengatta's side, you've got Eastern set as the 5/6, and I don't think it's set on the right side. Although I don't know if it's different. I've never.
Well, it was set to 5/6 on both, but he took it off of for SuperNinTaylor. But
And Gozengatta is gonna go ahead and clear Misery Mire.
well, they may be banking on Pedestal, since they clearly have forgotten about Bonkrox.
Which they could be in for a real bad time if Pedestal's the Mire.
But wait, they can't do Pedestal
Oh,
because...
you're right. Never mind.
So I have no idea why they're finishing. I guess just in case.
Yeah, I mean, especially since he's probably feeling a little lost. I can see this being like, well, I'm here, I'll do it. I mean, Silver Arrows, which is not even a chapter.
No. But this was one of those just seeds. So I guess the Turtle Rock play actually was required because that was one of the 5/6 crystals.
Which out of this is, I don't know how many seeds I've commentated now, like 7 or 8 maybe, but this is the second I've seen with progression behind a 5/6 Turtle Rock in the big bomb. Which when I saw that Dark World check, I was gonna say something like, "Oh, I bet that's gonna be required."
Well, unfortunately, we don't know which of Desert or Tower of Hera was the other 5/6 crystal. We just know that Eastern is just a normal one.
Yeah, by process of elimination, we know that Desert or Terra was a 5/6, but we don't know which.
Maybe someone wants to really go back in the VOD and check a menu from after they completed Hera as to which one they had.
And I wasn't apparently paying attention, but SuperNinTaylor gets Plasma Beam off Armos Knights. He also took out Helmasaur King, so that's his final crystal, which means if you want to play the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game, now's your chance. There's 22 locations in Ganon's Tower where the Big Key can be. Get those guesses in chat. You will win absolutely nothing. You will get this fake internet prize.
Do you have a guess for yourself?
I always guess 23.
That seems like a bad way of ever winning.
As far as I know, it has won once. So there's hope.
But was it actually on, or did it just win because it was the closest guess?
No, it was on 23. I forget the exact circumstances, but for some reason, somebody opened up more than 22 chests in Ganon's. I want to say it was the 2018 Link to the Past Randomizer tournament.
I see. And it looks like Gozengatta is going to be doing their shack tool check with that grapple they got out of Mire.
Which that does not feel good, because you're thinking, okay, it's got to be Shack Tool. I've done everything else. There's absolutely nothing else in the game aside from Plasma. So this has got to be something.
Yeah, this is the only check that he remembers about that is in logic. Because unfortunately, he missed Bonk Rocks.
And guesses are now closed. Thank you for the folks who entered into the race. Everyone is not being nice to our runners. Nobody picked one. Or two. Our closest winner was Asen with 11. It looks so. Congratulations. I'm sorry, Fuzzy Games, but that's, you know what? You can have honorary second. The prize is the same as first place.
Yes, and our winner's answer does, after all, sum up to 2.
Don't spend it all in one place, Fuzzy Game. SuperNinTaylor making his way up the gauntlet. Probably pretty much on autopilot at this point. I can't imagine the number of times SuperNinTaylor has climbed the gauntlet of Candace Tower, but I would think it's probably at least 4 digits. Yeah, to quote Final Fantasy Randomizer again, you hate to see it. It's so very easy to click something on a tracker and think that you were either just about to check it or you're checking it and then forgetting to actually go and do it. I mean, the good news for him is he's got about 15 minutes, probably about 5 minutes real time, until he sees the dot done and he can peace out if he wants.
Yeah, and when you reach that point where you're going, okay, I've checked everything. I have no idea where to check. That really is when you are almost hoping your opponent will dot done so that you can escape.
Yeah, you can end the pain. So this does mean, and I'm not trying to kill the hype, it's just hard to, there's a really big gap and it's only getting bigger every second. But this does mean that SuperNinTaylor is going to move on to the playoffs. Playoffs!
And Troll Dorm 2 actually had something for once with the Mire.
Well, I mean, that will hopefully help Gozengatta a little, because now he knows Swamp can't possibly be the.
Well, Gozengatta doesn't know that. Unfortunately.
Oh, you're right. Duh. It took me way too long to realize why that was true. And just in case anybody else is lost, it's I'm gonna help you out here. It's because Gozengatta is not SuperNinTaylor. They are in fact two different.
And unfortunately, Gozengatta is going to return to Turtle Rock, where they made one check and then left. So they are going to be checking the change out room and finding the big key, and once again going, where did I miss a check?
Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor is gonna make quick work of Ganon with Tempered Sword and Silver Arrow. I want to say 6 dashes. He's into phase 3. And Gozengatta is into phase help.
At this point, Gozengatta has full cleared Super Metroid. There's not a single check left in that game. They have not at least seen what the item is.
I forgot to join the speedrunning channel, so I will not be able to have an official time for you.
I am in there, so I will provide that. And it looks like they did remember about Bonk Rocks. So they will be getting their fire rod.
It feels great to be unstuck, but it also feels terrible to realize you've had that sitting there for a real long time.
Yep, get your G's in chat for SuperNinTaylor. Well, you could at least click the Ganon side of the final boss mess. And SuperNinTaylor is resetting. I guess they decided they wanted to
Yeah, they want to
restore their
supers.
supers. Yep.
You definitely don't want to farm up 62 super miss.
Well, no, particularly since there's no place in Turian to do that. And now Gozengatta is on their path to go mode. Having made all their other checks, if they were to continue to play, they probably would be able to stay on track once they finish Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I mean, he may not. So he may. Now that he's back on track, he may want to finish out the seed, which I can totally understand.
Yep. Oh, it seems
CW?
extremely likely that we will never see where the high jump boots or screw attack ended up in this seed.
That's very true. And I was just going to say, J3W, for the record, I think you've done a fabulous job today. SuperNinTaylor taking some acid baths. Don't recommend. It does whiten your teeth, though.
Yes, but it also tends to whiten all the rest of your bones as well.
We'll see if SuperNinTaylor goes for baby skip again without boots. I think it's unlikely, but as I said, it is possible. Oh, he's going. No.
Nope, decided to get as far to the left as he could before being drained. However, SuperNinTaylor does have the health that if they want to, they can do the stand-up.
Yep, and they've got charged plasma, which they've got really the full beam charged plasma wave ice. SuperNinTaylor going for the Zubtite skip. Gets it. Samus can be really particular about spin jumping sometimes. I find the decision to use super missiles slightly interesting here. I mean, I guess with charged plasma, I think you're going to charge plasma over super mother brain anyway.
Yeah, I would imagine you just go for the charge shots. And while it took 60 supers for Gozengatta to take down Mother Brain 2, it will take SuperNinTaylor 20 charge ice wave plasma shots.
Mother brain hitting us with the meatball. I learned the other night that if you land in the middle of the balls, damage.
And it looks like SuperNinTaylor is indeed setting up for the stand-up.
And when he otherwise should be able to, this will shorten his mother brain pretty substantially.
Yeah, getting a lot of hits in.
And taking Mother Brain down with the Rainbow Beam. A few more shots and she's gone.
And Mother Brain is down. Nice job by SuperNinTaylor.
But is she dead for real?
Well, you would hope between being shot that many times and then being on a planet that exploded that she would finally be dead, but you never know. Since Mother Brain was really just a computer, certainly can be rebuilt.
And you'll see, I forget who was asking earlier about, but you'll see since SuperNinTaylor has done Ganon already, he's got the timer, and the planet will continue to explode once he gets out of the shaft.
Yes. So the downside is all the animals die.
Unless you save them.
Except the ones that you might save. Yes. But all the other ones, Croc, the Totori, all of them are doomed.
You know, they weren't really very nice animals anyways, so... Like, at least, like, the Edacoons help you out. Sort of. Meanwhile, Gozengatta has taken down Trinex. Do you have the finish time?
And SuperNinTaylor has finished with an SRL time of 3 hours, 37 minutes, and 6 seconds. GG's to SuperNinTaylor.
And we can also go ahead and say shortly that Gozengatta did forfeit. I assume he's going to forfeit after he drops the bomb off. We're seeing if either of them want to come in for an interview.
Yep. And it does look like both of them may be joining us. Oh, welcome to both of you.
Well, thank you.
GG.
GG. And that was quite a seed.
Quite indeed, yeah.
That's a word for it. I gotta ask, what was your go mode item?
Bow.
Okay. Did you have fire rod before bow?
Yeah, bow was my go mode, so I was looking for bow for a while. It was the only thing I was missing.
Oh man. So my go mode item was fire rod. As in, I stooped fire rod to finish out TR that I dipped 3 times.
Oh, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it was actually pretty close, at least for most. You skipping bonk rocks is really kind of what set you behind Gozengatta. If you had gone bonk and skipped Misery Mire, you would have probably been in the lead.
I got punished for not checking ped and skipping bonk rocks because I got boots and I'm like, okay, I've got to route these things in. I did King's Tomb right away, going, yeah, it's gonna be here, it's gonna be fine. Didn't get anything in King's Tomb. Went right past bonk rocks. I count after I got boots, I went past bonk rocks 5 times. Never thought about it. The 6th time I get there and I'm like, where's the not done? I'm staring at SRL chat going, where is it?
Yeah, I'll admit I was staring at that for the dot done as well for a while. I did a few silly things myself.
Did you check Shack Tool like I did?
Yeah, I did.
Because I full cleared SM minus Waterway and Shack Tool. Went down to Waterway, got Waterway, went down to X-Ray that I also forgot. Did that, reset back out, got grappled in Mire and went, oh no. Full cleared Mire because I didn't check ped, got punished for it. And then went back into SM to go check Shack Tool.
Yeah, I did fairly similar things. I actually completely forgot about the X-ray spot until I got the grapple. I was like, oh shoot, X-ray, because the grapple reminded me of X-ray. I was like, please don't tell me the bow's there. I felt like I was going to lose if it was there because that was such an early check. But it wasn't there. I was like, okay, good. It's just Shack Tool. It's going to take him a while to get to this grapple. Then I checked Shack Tool. I didn't even pre-check it. I thought it had to be there because I thought it was the only thing I had left in the game. And it was just a heart. I was like, what am I missing? And I realized I completely forgot to mark my 5-6 crystals.
So we're pretty sure that neither of you ever actually did a light world map.
Yeah, I did. Right at the beginning.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, triple crystal. Right out the way with desert being red.
Yeah, I never checked till I got to the dark world. Then I saw all 3 pendants and I was like, okay, well, it's not that big of a deal to check in the light worlds, but
Yeah,
I guess I should have paid attention.
We as commentators in chat, I think too, nobody remembered the big bomb. So when you went to Shack Tool and it wasn't progression, we were all just like, is this scene completable?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what am I missing? I was like, oh no. Then I felt behind again. There were so many times I felt like I was screwed.
I felt behind in the whole race.
Yeah. I went all the way back to Hera, thinking
That's what I want to ask you. Let's talk about that second tower of Hera.
Well, I'm laughing because I did it too.
I guess I miscounted items. I thought there was one more item left in there.
Oh, rip. No, I went in hoping that I didn't have to go to the basement because I didn't have a lamp at this point.
Oh.
I sequence broke everything, didn't have any fire source. And I get in there and I get the small key. I check the other item, I'm like, oh man, I gotta go to the basement. Have hookshot, have boots, and I'm like, this is the one trick I don't know. I'm not gonna spend 2 minutes trying to set it up. Nope, then I left.
Yeah, SuperNinTaylor did do the Hera pot, but I guess didn't pay attention to the fact that you got all the items.
Yeah, I thought I left an item behind in the big chest, so I went all the way back just to do tile room, just to check the big chest for like a map or compass or something. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Well, it was funny because when you were setting up the Hera pot the second time, like every time the menu would come down, we'd be like, look, you don't have the map. You don't have the.
But I was very glad though when you did find the bow there, because if you had found the Mire instead, that would have just been so much worse.
Yeah, I was really hoping to not find that. Yeah.
Like straight up, it would have been like, oops, all dungeons. Just kidding.
Right.
Did you check ped?
No, I mean, I wasn't
man.
too concerned about it. I figured if I don't even have access to one of the pendants yet, I wouldn't worry too much about it because I'm pretty much full clearing the game anyway at that rate. I was like, if I find Mire, yeah.
The Mire was the one thing I was afraid of.
Yeah.
The Mire was Moldworm 2, FYI, so impossible.
Yeah, I checked that chest. I always check it just to see what it is out of curiosity.
When you did pod, did you have a lamp?
Yes, I did.
Was plasma the bottom left item in the dark room?
Plasma was on Armos.
Armos, yeah.
Then how did I? Okay.
I don't think SuperNinTaylor did the back of pod, right?
No,
Like, because
I
you went
went-
in and it was bow locked. And then
Yeah, I did pod in go mode because I went in there when all I needed was bow, so I was like, I'm not gonna do the bow locked stuff when that's all I need is bow. So I got the big key right away. I was like, okay, everything's bow locked, save and quit. I don't need to be here. Then I found the bow. I just went straight to the boss.
I think Gozengatta, somehow your hyper beam turned into a plasma beam.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened because it turned off my ice, and I'm actually checking right now to see. Because if I open the menu, I'm like, how do I have plasma? I didn't have plasma. Open the menu. Yeah, so it turned off my spazer, apparently turned on plasma, and turned off ice. So, but after pausing and unpausing, I still have plasma. So I even went up and checked plasma pirates going, how do I have plasma?
Yeah, and that may have been a change they put in after someone tried to go to plasma pirates with hyper beam, and that didn't work. I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is it's still there after unpausing, and I didn't change beam, so...
I do want to say that I actually believe that I heard that those pirates cannot be killed with the hyper beam.
That's correct. They cannot. So.
All right, what do you guys have anything else you want to say? It was a heck of a. I mean, it was a really enjoyable race to watch.
Yeah, I'll probably end up watching it back, the restream of it, just to see how it went down. I'm sure it was pretty close for a while.
Yeah, it was generally fairly close. You guys were usually, spent a lot of time with one of you following the other through the checks.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that Bonk Rocks skip just started creating a gap that just kept getting wider and wider.
Yeah, that's the thing about this combo, though. It goes on for so long. There's so many locations. It's just... You start, like, your brain stops working, and you just completely forget about locations. Or at least, maybe that's just my excuse, but...
No, I think that's everybody.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you just have one item left to find, and it could be pretty much anywhere, you're just checking everything.
Yeah.
All right, well, Gozengatta, anything you wanna?
No, I'm pretty much set here. GG SuperNinTaylor. Congrats on moving on, and I hope you do great in the next stage.
Yeah, thanks. I'll give it my best.
Yep. So as mentioned, as Gozengatta just alluded to there, SuperNinTaylor is in the playoffs, so that's super exciting. Everybody in chat giving good GGs. I'd like to give a shout out to one last time to my co-commentator Chad Ronald, who's put up with me for more hours than anybody should ever have to.
Also to our tracker, who has tracked all of the stuff throughout this race. And to my co-commentator, Eleanor Lamb. And once again, follow the runners.
All right, well, I'm going to sign off for the night. I hope everybody has a good one, and we'll see you for more SMZ3 tomorrow.
Yep, well, we do have plenty of more matches coming up this week.